What else is in the news? The OPEC Secretary General Mohamed Sanusi Bakindo started his mission to the Republic of the Congo by holding a bilateral meeting with His Excellency Bruno Jean-Richard Atua, the Congo's Minister of Hydrocarbons and head of delegation to the organization in Congo-Brazzaville. The meeting kicked off a 4-day visit to OPEC's newest member country. Congo joined the organization on the 22nd of June 2018. At the meeting starting today, the minister welcomed the Secretary General Bakindo and his accompanying delegation to Brazzaville. The minister stressed that Congo will continue to play a key role in the affairs of the organization from the point where his predecessor, Minister Jean-Therese Tchaya, left off. And that raises the curtain today on the global market, because for the Delta virus variant to the dividend payout by the U.S. big banks and Jackson Hole virtual address by the Fed Chief Jerome Powell, the new trading week is kicking off with a lot on the agenda. Let's navigate what to expect and what the trading themes mean for investors and analysts. And joining me from Howard Minnis Asset Management is Uchenna Minnis himself, the managing partner, who also is a global market strategist. A good evening to you, Uchenna. Give me the top international headlines or events for traders and analysts like yourself to focus on in the current week. Let's get started.
Yeah, boss, and thank you for having me. It's just the headline for this week is the Jackson Hole Symposium, really. There have been too many underlying talk within the Fed in itself, highlighting that there were significant dissenters now, highlighting what they will look to do in terms of their monetary policy, the tapering, really, and that's what is started to pick some sort of traction. So I think what would happen going into the Jackson Hole would be market participants and investors watching closely, not just what the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell is saying, but his body language, really, and because it's really looking at that they might even start to taper even before the end of this year, and that in itself can be quite significant to the market readjusting to the accommodative monetary policy that have been kicked in since the beginning of last year, Boston.
Yes, the whole stimulus and the whole tapering, Uchenna, some business economists believe that the Fed is providing too much money to the market. What's your take?
Also, my take is that it's quite significant, really. I think there've been some sort of carelessness when it comes to how much they've provided accommodating policies, basically in their implementation. However, I think it has come to the point where they believe that they have to continually have, should I say, kick the can, really, and not fail the music when it comes to asset prices and the level of liquidity that has been pumped into the market, really. So I think it is not exactly what we think. It's what the Federal Reserve in itself and its cohorts really think in terms of how they would continue to implement their policies, really. But we've seen this play out before too many times also. We saw that in the global financial crisis where it is just when you continue to be careless with your policy stance, something would have to give. When it will give, no one knows. But I think that's where we are, Bosso.
Well, despite the pandemic problems, which in U.S. banks will be giving out about $1.4 trillion in dividend for this year. Is this stimulus induced for the big banks, and the shareholders or investors like yourself are the ones who's going to get this big pot of money?
Yeah, so when you start to track this money, this monetary stimulus, really, you realize that it's not necessarily going down to the economic individuals or the residents. It still has that corporate level. You have corporates having the significant share buybacks, really, and having all of this carelessness on how this money is being really allocated. And that's where the issue comes in, because you have the advocates highlighting that what exactly, how effective has this stimulus been? When you go to the average American citizen and ask, oh, okay, you know what, does that come into your pocket? And they realize they come to tell you that it is a point where they are worse off from where they were before. So at the point here, when you get these corporations staying on this money, that is what you get. You get dividend payout, significant dividend payout, but you don't see the translation into the economy and stuff. And that's the gray area with the advocates highlighting that how effective are these accommodating monetary policy process.
Okay, let's leave the Washington stimulus and whatever, the Fed. Talk about the market. I kept one permanent eye on Bitcoin over the last few days. It's now 49,443 in continuous trading, slightly down by 2.1%. I'm sure you're watching this. It's still red hot around the $50,000. What's driving the surge, my friend?
Also, with Bitcoin, we can't exactly tell what the fundamentals are, really. But we are already, I think what we've got to see now during this year is we have this, should I say, bullish cycle of optimistic news and a bearish cycle of pessimistic news. And that's what we are getting to see. We're getting to hear PayPal is looking to now hold and collect payments in the UK in Bitcoin, and also even allow account holders trade it, So we are at that point where there's some relaxation, there's some optimism, and you see this digital currency surge in pricing. Then again, a couple of months later, you hear maybe there's another crackdown somewhere, or some regulatory agencies trying to hold on in terms of what has happened, negative impact and whatnot. So that's what we are facing, really. We're just having this volatility in this currency, and we can't really tell what the long-term direction is, also.
Okay, so let's bring it home. Uchenna, what's the playbook for emerging and frontier markets in the current week for you, from currency play to other assets? I'm looking at gold right now, coming back because the dollar index is down around 93 against its peers.
Yeah, it's just where you just hit that nail. It's the dollar really for emerging and frontier markets, and also links us back to what John Paul will be looking to say in this Jackson Hole Symposium, really. And if it's what we probably are hearing, the chatter that we're hearing within the Federal Reserve, then we will see the dollar try to push up higher, given the fact that for the last 2 years it has been significantly on the downside, and the risk is to the upside, really. When you look at the risk reward ratio, really, it's pretty to the upside. So if we get a significant dollar upside play, given the fact that the Federal Reserve will look to start to taper its asset purchase policy, then I think frontier and emerging markets really need to adjust to that bullishness.
Yeah, we're seeing some of that are flowing into the South African rand today, up very strongly against the US dollar. Thank you so much, Uchenna Minnis, global market strategist and managing partner at Howard Minnis Asset Management. Thank you for raising the curtain on the current market. Have a great week ahead.